Hi, I'm Jon San Paolo in Studio B at Electrical Audio, and today I'm going to show you how to make a half-inch stereo tape edit. For this project, you will need a mix-down tape machine, a console with mute or solo in place functions, analog audio tape, a new razor blade, a China marker, multi-track source audio, and splicing tape. Today, we're using half-inch. So there are actually a lot of different reasons why you might make an edit to a mix after you've printed it. The one we're going to do today is the intro to the song, where there's just one instrument playing and the rest of the band is sitting idle for the first several measures of the song. Our goal is to get rid of all the excess tape noise and errant sounds that happen during that intro, so it's just the bass, and then when the rest of the band kicks in, then we have the edit where the whole band is playing. And I'll demonstrate what that sounds like for you now. Our sample music today comes from the band My Canadian Girlfriend. Once again, the setup is that there's a bass guitar intro, and then the full band kicks in a couple of measures later. It sounds like this. So this setup today is actually 22 tracks, and in that intro we're only using 2 of them. So that means that we have 20 tracks of either nothing happening or of errant sounds, either amp noises or the sound of the vocalist kind of pacing back and forth, and like mouth sounds and breathing, and basically a lot of clutter that we don't need in the intro to the song. Sometimes that sounds cool, but in this case, I want to be able to clean that up. And there are a few ways to approach it. You can, if you have enough fingers, you can just hold down the mutes and then let them go when the time comes. Most analog consoles will allow you a mute group, or if you have automation built on, even better. But if you're trying to run a mute group live, you may not nail it in the first take. It may take you a half a dozen or more takes, where in this case, I can surely record it once with just the bass intro and once with everybody in, and make one edit and it's done. So there's no right or wrong way to do it, but I often prefer this workflow. So the next thing that I will do is solo up just the bass. Actually, I'm going to mute just the bass guitar tracks and play you all the sounds that I intend to cut out. So the way I'll do it is I will actually solo up the bass guitar tracks. And if I recorded the intro with just the bass guitar, I wouldn't know when the band actually kicks in, and it would be a much harder edit to do. So I'm actually going to have 3 tracks soloed, the 2 bass guitar tracks, it's 1 mic per track, and the bass drum channel. So again, out of 22 channels, I only have 3 up, so that'll reduce the noise and errant sounds significantly. So the next step will be for me to record a bass and bass drum only intro, and as soon as that bass drum is struck, then I can stop the tape, rewind, and record the introduction with the full band, and then I'll walk over to the tape machine and make the edit. So I have my multi-track reproducer queued up. I have my stereo recorder ready to go. I have the channels that I need for the noiseless intro soloed up. I should mention you can do it 2 ways. You can either, if you have what's called a solo in place or destructive solo, you can just solo up the tracks you need. If you're not sure, or if you don't, just mute the tracks that you don't need for that. If you're not using a solo in place or destructive solo, you'll hear the intended effect in the speakers, but it won't necessarily make it to your stereo recorder, so you'll just wind up recording the same passage twice. So now I'm ready to record the bass-only version of the intro. And that's literally all I need of it. So the next thing I'll do is put the board back in the state where everything that I want in the mix is up where I want it. And I'll do it again. And normally I would go ahead and mix the entire song, but we just need a short passage for this demonstration. So now it's time for us to make our edit. So now I'm going to listen through both versions that I've printed, and I'm going to find that first bass drum, and I'm going to mark that as my in point during the first section and my out point during the second one. So I'm moving it back and forth, and I'm both listening for that sound and watching the VU meter. And I'll mark it, and then I'll check my work. Seems to be there. Now we'll play it and find the next one. So now I've made the mark and shown where I'm going to discard it. It lines up. So I'm ready to make the edit. So now we'll put the tape on the splicing block and make the splice. Again, lining up my line. I typically try to sight the top of the mark on tape with the top side of the splicing block. It's different for everybody. I think the most important thing is that you're consistent. Now we pull the tape and look for the other side of our edit. This is at 30 inches a second, so there's actually a lot more slack than if we would have recorded at half speed. So I usually line them up just to see. It looks like that will work. So now I'll grab some splicing tape. I'm going to use the 1/2 inch tape, and I'm going to cut off, I just need shy of an inch. So I don't know if you can see it against the light, but it's about that much. And I'm going to try to, when I make the splice, I want to avoid splicing this way and trimming off the edges. You can get away with it with 2-inch tape, but tape this thin. Once some time has gone by, if you do it this way where you chop off the edges and put it on vertically, the adhesive can ooze out and actually spread kind of to the top side of the tape, and it may not glue both layers together, but it'll definitely make them tacky. And that can cause some playback errors in the future. Speaking as somebody who has dealt with reels like that in the past, it's generally a good idea to avoid it. So what we'll do is we'll actually lay it down horizontally so that the width of the splicing tape should go over the width of the edit that we've made. So with any luck, I'll be able to square it up. Looks good. And we also want to use a Q-tip or the back of your fingernail or something like that to get all of the air pockets and bubbles out of your splice. So let's check it. Looks like No tape creeping over the top. Now we check our work. That sounds good to me.